My name is Mabel Nanyonjo Mawonga, and I am the Education Training Specialist, Peace Corps Uganda.
I'm called Dennis Okema, and I work with Peace Corps Uganda as the PEPFAR coordinator.
I'm called Mary Ann Isabidie. I am the training manager of Peace Corps Uganda.
My name is Henry Kavayo, and I work here at Peace Corps Uganda as a language and cross-cultural coordinator.
My name is Emily Lamwaka. I'm the program manager for education with Peace Corps Uganda.
My name is Sean Cantella, and I'm the new country director here at Peace Corps Uganda.
People in Peace Corps call me Ven, but most people call me Nalubega.
James Bing is my name. I work for Peace Corps as a general service manager, and I've worked for Peace Corps for 20 years.
To me, when you talk about diversity, I'm looking at people from different backgrounds. I'm looking at people of different colors. I'm looking at people of different languages, speak different languages. People have different cultural experiences, all being together in one place and trying to have harmony within one place.
Diversity to me is our unique differences. We are different. We are unique.
From a Peace Corps American perspective, I feel that diversity and inclusion is essentially the core business that we're in, and that one of the most amazing parts of our nation is that we typically embrace diversity.
There are also diversity between community and communities. There is also diversity between countries and countries. Then diversity between different groups of people.
Diversity is having to appreciate differences between people, race, tribe, color, and so many more.
What makes me diverse is that my life I've devoted to Peace Corps and Peace Corps volunteers. My first plane ride was Peace Corps at 23. I come from a blue-collar background, and it's thanks to Peace Corps that I have the life that I have. Peace Corps does a pretty good job with respect to recruitment of ethnic diversity, gender and sexual minorities, older volunteers. But there are some impediments for people like me, blue-collar people, in order to give up 2 years of salary in order to join Peace Corps. So with respect to diversity and inclusion, I admit as a country director, I'm always looking out for volunteers who have that hardscrabble background. And that is an area of connection that I feel that I can bring to the table when we talk about diversity and inclusion issues.
Bolder than, like I said, than any Peace Corps staff. To me, I think that is very important to me. I value my experience, and I know people value my experience.
I think my belief, one area that I think makes me diverse, I come from a community within Uganda which is based in northern Uganda, and these are the Chole speaking people. One thing that I know about them is that they're very direct and straightforward, and that is something that does not apply to every community in Uganda, and I believe to some communities around the world.
Cultural difference is important to me. One, I come from Eastern Uganda, and we perceive things in a different way from other parts of Uganda. The fact that I'm from the East, the fact that I am a female, the fact that I am Ugandan makes me different, but makes me strong as an Easterner Ugandan woman. So it makes me different from maybe an American woman, but we celebrate our strengths in our differences. But I see that, to me, difference makes us strong.
I respect my culture. I would consider that very important. That's important to me. And then I respect other people's culture. And then working together, there are those that I feel like this should be removed, although I have no powers to do that. But when you mix the two, my culture and other different cultures, I feel it's important.
I think it's more about where I come from. And then relating it more to the Ugandan context. I come from the north. It's one of the areas that it's stereotyped to be the most marginalized, which somehow has gotten into the mentality of everyone that we're a marginalized group of people. But I still feel like there is a lot within that group of people that outcompetes all these other negativities. So I like being who I am. I like coming from the north. I like being categorized under the marginalized group of people. But I'm also a proof to others that actually we are different, and it's not what you think we are.
Wow, I've already talked about my skin color. It places me somewhere in Uganda, and Uganda, we have about 54 to 56 languages. So that's already a diverse country. So when I look at myself, right from my skin color, my educational background, marital status, I'm already diverse. Yeah, so I use that experience when I'm training our volunteers to live comfortably with Uganda.
I am different in many ways. First of all, I am Ugandan. That makes me different from many African countries. And I am black. That makes me different. I am a woman. That makes me different again. And then my age and what I can accomplish professional-wise. So that one makes me really very different.
I think all regions of Uganda are represented in Peaceful Uganda. We have people from the different areas of the country, and it really enriches us, because what we take to be good in my area can be something bad in the other part of the country. Food, language, all sorts of things.
We come from very diverse backgrounds. We have the sex difference, diversity. We have the cultural difference and diversity. We have the way we think, we have educational, we have so many unique components to who we are. So even the knowledge, even the ideas, the ideologies, we are totally different. But what makes us unique is that each brings a strength. Each has something they offer, each of the staff. And that's the beauty about diversity.
You have great diversity in terms of the people that work here and the cultures that they come from. I've learned enough about the way in which the different cultures interact to identify, for example, Buganda from an Acholi pretty quickly. So that helps with respect to understanding the construct of the fact that there's diversity in the way in which Ugandans interplay as well as Americans. And we can use that as a teaching guide for Ugandans whenever we teach them about American diversity, to use that as a mirror and have that reflect on the fact that they themselves also interact differently because they come from different cultures, or subcultures I should say.
You get to learn something new about people every day. Today you will assume that, oh, Emily is an Acholi. Then when you come to talk to me, you will also realize that I am not a real Acholi. I probably am Acholi mixed with Elangi, or I'm Acholi mixed with something. So that is how it is. You cannot just judge and say, oh, so-and-so is within the Peace Corps staffs, like so-and-so is from the West. But are they really straight West? Or it's like a mix of Western something, and they want to identify themselves with the other one.
Americans don't have a great concept of Africa. We tend to focus on stories of poverty and desperation in general. That's sort of how our media has evolved in the last 20 years. So I think that creates some challenges in terms of understanding the broader context of what's going on in Africa. That, for example, we could be sitting in 75-degree weather and be very comfortable in a place like Kampala, where the weather is always perfect and where nutritional deprivation is a little bit less than in other African countries, because the ground is so fertile and that people can eat well in an environment like this. That's just one example. There's many others. There's commerce. There's the fact that the country that I came from, Ghana, is a lower middle income country that has a vibrant and growing middle class. Those are the stories that you don't get on the news.
It's interesting that, I don't want to make an assumption, but one of the single stories would be that every Ugandan is the same. Yet it's not the case. There are generalizations that are made. One, where is Uganda? That's the first thing. Where is Uganda? Uganda is in Africa. But Africa is so huge. Africa is so diverse. So that is one of the single stories. So Uganda is African. They are all the same. If you go to Uganda, you've been to Africa. That is one of the single stories. Then the issue of generalizing every Ugandan is another single story. A Ugandan from the east, from the north, from the west, we all have diverse cultural experiences, and that makes us different and unique.
Because I can recall one example. I think it was 2001, and we had picked volunteers, the new trainees from the airport, and one of them who was seated next to me could not believe that I speak English, because for her she knew that Uganda was full of lions, wilderness, bad roads. So she was really surprised to see that I spoke some English, and also we had a good road. So I do think that Uganda is really not so known to most of Americans, and there are some areas that they will tell you straight out about Uganda. AIDS, HIV/AIDS, and even some dictatorial leaders that we had in the past. So I do think that there are several areas that are really not known to Americans about Uganda.
I think there's been a lot about the negativity depicting how there are people who think Uganda is a bush. Actually, many don't know that Uganda exists in the US. There are people who don't know that there is a place called Uganda. So when you say you're going to Uganda, for them they think, oh, you're going to Africa. It's like one bit of the puzzle, one small piece of that puzzle that no one knows where it should fit or where it's coming from. And then there is also that thinking that the people here are extremely poor, are extremely dense, if I may say. They don't think, they don't reason, they're not intelligent generally, or you have to think for them, or you have to tell them something that you want, or even do it for them. Not knowing, the other bit of it is they are making them more incapacitated, because you have a layer on top of the actual. So you keep thinking it's this, it's what you're seeing on top, it's what you're seeing on top. But if you came down to Uganda, if you talked to the people, you realize they're intelligent people.
I think the misconceptions that they have about Uganda is like, people, when you talk of Uganda, they are not sure where Uganda is. That's one thing. They think the whole of Africa is Uganda. And some people, when they talk of Uganda, they think of Idi Amin, like you said. And then others think that by the fact that we are black, are we really good people? Do we understand the way people understand? Which is very wrong, I think. We're all human beings, and we're all on this earth. We're all together. So
I think one thing that I'll pick out very quickly is about leadership in Uganda. We had a leader I don't know, I wasn't there at the time. He was the president for the Republic of Uganda. It was by the name Idi Amin Dada. Every time you go out of Uganda and you talk about Uganda, the first person they remember is Idi Amin Dada, a leader whom they thought was a dictator and very rough. So once you talk about Uganda, say, oh, Idi Amin. So they remember that very quickly. And that makes you feel like every Ugandan seems to be that rough dictator kind of person. It's kind of stereotype for Uganda. And it is something that I can always remember quickly when I'm outside of the country.
It's like Africa and Uganda have no distinction, and I think that is a very big misconception.
Americans should know that we don't know about America. And that is very important. So when they come here, we learn about America by observing what they do, by listening to what they tell us, and by so which means if they give us a good picture, we will learn the best lessons about America. Because normally we see tourists and they may not give us the best picture of Americans. And Ugandans need to learn that Americans are diverse people. They are not just like we would want Americans to learn that we are from different origins. So we need to learn that too. And Americans need to learn that from us too.
I think they need to know that Uganda has so many tribes. Uganda is a beautiful country, nice weather, nice food, fresh fruits, and fertile soil. And we are not commercialized in terms of agriculture, but it's the background of the country. It's more of a subsistence farming community, I would say, to the rest of the world. And we have beautiful cultures and traditional dances that are so nice.
Diversity in Uganda shouldn't be seen as an issue of conflict. Diversity should bring us together. When I work with Peace Corps volunteers, when I work with Peace Corps staff, I celebrate the diversity. I believe that in our differences, we are one. We are strong, we are wonderful. And whatever it is, even twins, I'll give an example of twins. Twins are uniquely different. That is the diversity I want people to know outside there. In our differences, we celebrate something else. And the fact that we are humans and we are strong, we are wonderful people.
First of all, about Uganda diversity, as I said, we're a diverse country. They need to know that so many things, good things exist here. We have very good national parks, good environment, food, the seasons are great, and so many things that are good about Uganda.
With the LRA insurgency, with whatever's been going on, people believe there's nothing like the North that exists. Or probably everyone in the North needs help. Or they have to rely on them or whoever they are, on external support or a donor or something. But the fact is, people have picked up their feet and people are moving on with their lives. And people have gone places already.
Well, I would wish them to know that you're good people. We are almost similar to them. The other thing that I would want them also to respect our culture. Americans have a different way of handling things, like us here. The fact that we can understand one another, I think that would be much better. For them to accommodate us and then we can accommodate them.
I wish Americans knew that Uganda is a country on its own, and also Uganda is very diverse in its own. We have very many different people, and they shouldn't treat us as if we are all the same. Yes, we are all Ugandans, but very, very different. We have very many tribes and very many things that we are passionate about. So Americans need to know that.
Oh, my beautiful question. I love about being who I am because, first of all, I'll never change who I am. It's a gift from my Creator for me to be who I am. I love serving my Creator, Lord God Almighty, and I believe life is about Him. So that is something that I love about myself.
I have fought to be who I am, an educated Ugandan female. In the past, I could have been something else, but I have worked hard to be who I am. I would like people to celebrate my femaleness. I would like people to celebrate my Ugandanness. I would like people to celebrate the fact that I am a working woman, but I commit a lot of time to my personal home life, to my family, and those different components, diverse components, make me who I am. I'd like people to know that about me. I'm proud of who I am. I would never change Marianne. I would like to reach out to women like me outside there who many times may regret who they are, struggling to get to a point in their lives which maybe male counterparts may not have struggled to get to because they enjoyed opportunities maybe when they were growing up. But I would like to celebrate the fact that being a Ugandan female is awesome, is great. It's something all women out there should be proud of.
What has kept me moving all these days? One thing is love for what I'm doing and my ability to try to help other people to adjust to work and live in Uganda.
Being who I am, I just love my life. I love who I am because if I want something, I'll get it. And if I don't want something, I'll tell you I don't want it. I don't care how you'll receive it or how you'll hear it. And I think many of the people I work with have gotten to learn that that is me. That is what I am. So I love that. I am straightforward, I'm very open. And maybe the other bit of it is I value others.
I love myself, and then I respect my culture. I'm considered an elder in my community, so that gives me respect because then I can guide the young generation to come in, to tell them about our country, tell them about our culture, tell them about whatever happens.
I love myself because I have served my country as a teacher for a long time. I can see the people that I taught in high positions in this country and I feel happy. Then loves herself because Ben is a happy person.
I'm most proud of the fact that Peace Corps service gave me my wife, gave me my life, and that I've been able to work within and outside of Peace Corps to give other fellow volunteers similar opportunities to change the trajectory of their life, just like it changed mine.
I love everything about me, and the biggest thing I love is that I am Ugandan and I am a human being.